Welcome everybody to this Zenstream. So in this Zenstream, what we're covering today is the email designer. So email designer is used under email broadcasts, and a lot of people have problems with setting up the new email designer. So they're using the classic editor, which you can still use inside the platform, but I thought I'd do a little bit of a Zenstream for you today, showing you some good ways to plan, or at least be able to design your actual email before you've even gone into the platform. So we're going to be looking at, and I'm going to be sharing a Canva template with you. So wait to the end and I will share the template that you're about to look at now with you, so that you can actually see, you can actually use it. And I've even included the source code in there, so you can actually use that source code and you can drop it in to your emails and it will format it, and then you can just swap things out, and then you've got this formatting already, so you don't even have to do anything. So you can sit back, guys, you can sit back and relax. There is a replay of this. It's going to be on Facebook, but the place we say that you should go and watch it is on our YouTube channel, because you can see there it's the first playlist down. It's all the tabs. You go to lives and you'll see the email designer. Last week we did one on marketing funnels, which is 2 hours 20 minutes. This is going to be a lot shorter, but it will show you the potential of what you can do. So it's not, you know, I haven't spent a lot of time on the design of it, but you can spend as much time as you want. It's basically to fulfill a purpose. So it was to get the information across to you so that you can adapt what I'm showing you and make it work with your brands. So guys, if you are joining me today, then if you want to just put your name in the chat, I will monitor both Facebook and YouTube, because we're dual streaming to both. So I will be looking at those, so any chat come in there, any questions like last week, and I can answer them. Now what I've got for you today prepared is, one, you're going to have the actual template itself. You're going to have the code for it, so you can use it, and I've given you 2 versions as well, one slightly different from the other, and you can use either one of those versions as a template for you to put into the email designer. So it's almost like you're getting a free template, even though Zenler's got templates built into it. Now, like all these things, I wasn't going to use a pre-existing template, because the main reason being is that a lot of you might not like those templates and they might not work with your brand. So to make it generic, I'm starting from scratch, and that's what I like to do on these workshops. I like to show you how to build things from scratch. So I've got Khalida here from Canada. Good to see you. Hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Khalida, that's a nice name. So Khalida's here, she's joining us. So yeah, it's going to be super cool, because you're building it from scratch, so you'll know exactly what you're doing. Now, there are a few little things that you might find when you're trying to do it on your own. What I say to you is, when you're using the email designer, just use the blocks as they are. Don't try and mess around a lot with the padding and spacing, although I do talk about it. Just try and leave it as it is and just fit things in, and then it will work really nicely for you. When you try and change things like the ratio or the percentage of a column, it can become a little bit of a problem. So don't worry about it. It's just whack the blocks in, find the blocks that will work for you, just make it work. So although we do it in Canva, it's not exactly the same, you know, because we've got freedom in Canva, but there's certain rules that I'm showing you on this Zenstream that you want to pay attention to. So I've got Hannah back as well. Hi Hannah. It all sounds good, great. I've got Andy Adams. Hiya. I talked to you today, didn't I, on Facebook? From the USA, brilliant. Yeah, because we're in the time zone. Like last week it was 11 a.m, which obviously Americans, you guys were all asleep. So Andrew actually asked, can I do it later? So I was like, well, I'm going to swap the times around, play around, see what activity I get in the group, and then just play around. So there's different, but you can always watch these things on the replay anyway. So guys, I'm going to show you quickly what you're going to see. So I'm going to show you the template first of all. Now I did a quick one on Facebook for you guys that have already seen it, but I'm going to just present this one now, any second. Okay, it's got a black outline, but never mind. Okay, let's jump into a screen share now, and I've got my little face in the corner there. Look, maybe a bit bigger there we go. So this is one of the templates we're looking at. So designed in Canva, designed specifically for, it's actually designed for a website. It's kind of working in that bootstrap or gridded form, which is what Page Builder does. It's what, you know, Page Builder, you put blocks in, you put rows in, you put a row under a row. It works in a very gridded way, and that's how websites kind of work today. You can offset things, but we're not going to get into that. So the email designer works in the same way. It works in a gridded pattern, but that'll be explained to you inside the presentation itself. So the next one we've got the block code. Here's the block code, guys. I'm going to share this template with you. I'm going to give you this template. You can use it, and you can keep it for your own Canva account, and you can modify it how you like. This is a block code specific to this template here, and how to install it. This is this live video. It's in part 2. I show you how to install it right at the end. So if we go to this one, this is another one that we've done here, sort of a dog training one. So actually this copy was generated by ChatGPT. Okay, we always like to bring that in because it's trending at the moment, you know, for a while. So again, we've got the block code for that as well, and obviously this video to install it. So that is what we're looking at there. Now I want to jump quickly into the actual site itself so you guys can see what's happening on the site. So let me just turn myself off here. Whoosh. Okay, so email broadcasts, and in here you're going to see layout design 1, layout design 2, so 1 and 2 in the order of the PDF. So if you preview this mail, you're going to see this, and that's the one we do. So this is built from the Canva design. Are you guys excited? Give us the thumbs up if you're excited to learn all this stuff, because this is actually from, I'm going to build this using the Canva as a template, and I've done this in such a way that you don't need to use any additional tools. So generally what I would do is I produce all my stuff in Photoshop and I slice it all up. So I slice all my logos, images, and it automatically just outputs it to a folder for me. Really quick, but you know, that's what I use. I professionally use Photoshop. However, I was thinking, well, you guys are not going to be using that, and you might be using a plethora of different tools, but one tool you definitely probably use is Canva. So how can I get Canva, and how can you slice these out and be able to color match? So you're going to do that inside Zenler itself. So pretty cool. So that is one of the templates inside here. And hopefully you think this is cool. Like I'm getting no thumbs up here in the chat. It is worrying me. So this is the other one I've got here, and we're going to be doing that as well. So let's just jump straight into it. I'm going to do the first now. I've recorded these. I've recorded 2. I've recorded the Canva part, and I've recorded the second part. Hannah's given me the thumbs up. Always excited. Are you watching on both streams today, Hannah? Hannah last week was watching on both YouTube and Facebook as well. So hi Bex, good to see you. Excellent. Right, okay, so we're going to get on with this now. So we haven't started anything yet. We're going to get on with the first recording. Because I've recorded this content, it means that it's a bit slicker than normal. I do run through, if I make mistakes, I do tend to keep them in there, because I like to keep mistakes in there, because it's the sort of thing that you guys might be doing. So it is recorded, but that allows me, as I'm just doing this on my own, if anything comes into the chat, Hannah's getting really excited now. I've got trophies coming up. Brilliant. So we got Maria. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the second, third or fourth part of your name. Maria from the Philippines. Oh wow, see, a worldwide audience. So I leave all these things in. If I do make a mistake, I leave them in there because it's something that you might do as well. But it means, because I'm running this on my own, that if you're watching the broadcast and you have a question as we're watching it, then I can answer you. So it basically turns me into an octopus. Okay. Right, let's get on with this. Watch the first part. This is all about Canva and designing inside Canva. It's very simple, really easy to do. You'll have the templates at the end, so you can use that as a base and you can follow along with this video. But I suggest you just try it on your own and just see how easy it is to do. Okay guys, hope you enjoy, and I'll see you straight after this. Hopefully there'll be some questions in there. I can answer those and we can move on to the second part, which is building it in Zenler itself. Okay, let's begin. So inside Canva, I'm trying to make this really easy for you guys. So there's a few little features that we're going to use in Zenler that you might not even know about for snipping our images out. We're going to be working with flat JPEGs. We're not going to be using any transparencies for this one, but of course you could use transparencies if you wanted to. When I mean transparencies, I mean like a logo with a transparent background that you can put on any color. This is obviously a good way of doing it, but we don't want to overcomplicate things with this workshop. So if you know about resizing, creating transparent PNGs and resizing your graphics in general, then a lot of this won't apply to you and you can just do it. But what I'm starting with here is a template. So I'm starting for something so you can visually see what's happening and how you're going to build it inside of the email, inside of Zenler itself. So we're going to start off and create design. Now we're going to use a custom size for this. We're going to choose a size or width of 800 by 1200. I don't just make this size up. This is roughly the size of the email template or the email designer within Zenler itself. So it gives us a good starting block, and it also means we can see how our graphics look at size. So we're going to choose 800 by 1200. So simply type 800 into width and type 1200 pixels, by the way, of the height. So once you've done that, you're going to get a flat template like this, and that looks nice, and we're going to start doing our designing. So inside here we're going to maybe give the top a bit of a header color and drop some text in here, put some images on the right hand side, have a little bit of a sign off, and that's kind of it. But you can take this as far as you want to. I don't want to overcomplicate this workshop on this subject. So let's go to elements over here, and I'm going to simply drag in a square, and I'm going to drag that, and you'll notice you've got these little siders in here. I'm going to just flick this to the side, I'm going to drag it out there, and then I'm going to bring it up and say that's a nice header size. Might change that later, but it's alright. I also want to choose a dark color here. So for this color I'm going to choose a color like quite dark, not black but fairly dark. Okay, so now I want to drop in our logo. Now I've already uploaded my Zenler logo inside here, so I have him. So I'm going to drop him in here, and I'm just going to resize him. This is going to be for the header area, so I'm going to drop him into there, make it nice and bold that it's from Zenler, and we'll be cutting and snipping that out later. So this is going to be a special offer email. So it's going to be like, maybe I'll send out to people saying, look, I've got a summer sale, or you know, it's Christmas, or it's Black Friday, or whatever you like. So I'm going to go and use some bits that are already supplied inside here. We have this wild sale one. This is quite good, and or huge sale, you know, all quite nice. Let's choose huge sale, and let's bring that down in size, and let's just put it into here, and let's just change this position a bit to just make it a little bit groovier inside of here. Okay, so I'm obviously looking at where my spacing is as well. Now there's going to be a little bit, it's going to be slightly different when we put this into Zenler, but it's going to I'm looking at the side margins. Notice I've used, naturally I just put it into the right position, so just make sure your side margins here are the same for our text copy when we drop it in here. So we're going to say huge sale. I want it a bit brighter than this, so this is a bit of a kind of off color. I want it nice and bright inside here, so I'm going to change that color. Might even change it to, notice it's only doing one of them, so I'm going to choose this color for this, and for the top part here I'm going to choose a brighter yellow, not green, something like that. Okay, that looks good. So we've got a huge sale on. You can call that whatever you like, it's just the point to get this across to you. So let me just come down and make that a bit cider. Now, right, okay, so really important thing to consider is like the page builder, just like emails, we're working in a grid system. So when I mean a grid system, I mean everything should be in a grid. So if I was to put graphic or text in here, it's not in a grid anymore, it would just be in this grid. So I need to make sure that I have clearance for certain things I want to put in there. So when you're looking at it, just think of gridding the page up as if you were working in a kind of grid system. If you want to help you, what you can actually do is put a line in here. Lines are really good because it allows you to kind of see what's going on. So I could take this little line, I could choose like a grey like this, and I can just make sure that things are falling in the right area. So that's one grid line, and then I could make sure my text flows under here. Now honestly guys, this will really help you later by doing this. You can always delete these out afterwards, but I always tend to have a little bit of a line or something in here just to guide me. I do this in Photoshop all the time. I just have grids turned on and I can see where alignments are, because what's going to happen is responsively when we add this in, then things are going to go underneath each other when they go onto mobile because it's a smaller device. All right, you'll see this later, so don't worry about it too much now. Okay, so I'm going to go in now and I'm going to grab some body text here. So I'm just going to grab this text and throw in some text in here. Let me just drag this in. Let me just drag this in actually. I'm having a oh, okay. Let's just take this and delete it out. Let's use the body text here. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put blog, and I'm going to just use the little line here, and I'm going to say this all courses. Yeah, you can call this whatever you like. Now I'm doing this because I want to put in a navigation to some of the courses and things that I've got inside of our dummy course. So I'm going to put this now in position here, so you can see I've built a little menu system. I'm also going to change the font size down to about 16, and my little grid line that I've got here, I'm just going to check this and make sure it's all in a gridded line. You can see that, and I've also got it lining up with this a little bit as well. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some body text in here. So I'll just grab this and we'll start to put something together based on this. I'm going to put this in position here and I'm going to drag this so it lines up. Can you see the little lines that are forming? So I've got that now in the right position for there, and I just make sure that that's roughly in line with everything there. That looks good. I'm also going to left align this as well, and I'm going to change this size down to about 18, which I think is a better size for this inside here. Now I'm going to put some dummy text in here that I've already got in a template that I created when I was just testing things were going to work for this particular tutorial. So you can see this is what we're kind of heading towards, this sort of thing. This was another one that was done. This is what we're going to put together in here. So I'm going to take this text anyway, and I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to just press Control V, and that will paste in position there. So you can see that's all I've done. I've put personalization in a box because I will be replacing this inside Zenler itself. So I'm going to just go ahead, you know, you can drop another box in if you want to, another text box exactly the same way, or we can add it to this, it's up to you. We're going to drop that in there, so we're starting to get a little bit of stuff going on. So I've got a little bit of a text going in here saying whopping 50% off, blah blah blah, and it's all, everything's gridding. I don't have to worry about this text so much because it's all perfectly fine. So if you look at this template again, I've got some blocks here, and then I've got some images on the left hand side there, on the right hand side, and I've got the text on the left hand side. So again, I've done this for a reason. When you actually do this, it will actually drop down. Now I'm going to swap over this. I'm going to do this slightly differently. So let me go in and just add some more text in here. So I'm now going to take this block and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to drop in some lorem text for this, just because I don't want to write text out for this, the sake of this workshop. You can write your own text out. But what I am going to do is I'm going to bring this down to about the size of the image. Now, do you notice that I'm lining it up with this? There's no reason why I'm lining it up. Well, there is a reason. It just looks better in here because it will line with this. But you could do it this much, you could do it this much. It's really up to you. I'm just doing it because my design head is saying I need to be in line with everything else because I'm working in a grid system. So I'm going to grab a little bit of lorem text and just drop it in here. If you haven't used lorem before, guys, it's a really good way to place placeholder text inside of anything you're doing. So if you go to lipsum.com and come in here, and you can specify certain text, it just give a real flow to the text that you're using. So inside here I'm going to say let's just do one paragraph, and maybe let's just do one paragraph of text. It's going to be fine. I'm going to go generate lipsum, and then it will start and it will give us a little bit of text. So I'm going to take some of this text. I'm not going to take all of it, and I'm just going to take it from the full stop, and I'm going to use that inside here. So I'm going to drop that in there, and I've got a nice little bit of text, probably a little bit too much for this. I'm going to bring it up a little bit here. Let's just bring it up to about there. That'll do. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to hold when I select this, I'm going to hold the Alt key. So hold the Alt key, select it, drag it, and then you can create a copy of it. So now I want to just find some images to drop in here as well. So I'm going to go and just find some nice images to put in. Let's just choose, this is a nice bright image. It could be anything. By the way, be careful, if you do this, it will be a background image. So I don't really want it to go in as a background image. So I'm going to just drop it in like that. I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to change the size a little bit inside here, and I can press the Alt key and you can actually crop it. So I want to crop it to a square, and I'm going to bring it down in here and just put it in line with this text here. Notice I'm working in a gridded system. Okay, so depending on your size of your image, you might want to add a little bit more text inside here if you have it. So I'm just going to do that just for convenience, really, just to make it look a little bit better. Okay, so that looks really nice in there. So with this one, I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to choose another image. Let's choose another image that looks quite nice. Something like that's quite nice. I'll drop that in there, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to hold, I want it as a square, so I'm going to hold that Alt key and bring it down. That's a square. And if you want to line it with this, you can put this in here and you can drag it till it's the same size. Do you see that? It doesn't matter too much, but that's just what I've done here. And I'm also going to just move this text a little bit there. Notice I'm going to make sure that this is all separated, so I've got a little bit of a gap there. I don't want to crowd it. Yeah, it's really important that you don't crowd or pack it all in too tightly on here. So let's just put that in there, get rid of that, and that's looking good so far. Okay, so I want to put some sort of separator in here. I want to use a kind of separated color. So to do that, I'm going to let me just bring this a little bit closer. I'm going to just use a element in here. I'm going to use a square element here, and it's going to go over the top. I'm going to right hand click on the element, and I'm going to go layer, and I'm going to go send to back. Okay, now I can spread this. I can actually go over the top if I wanted to, or take it right to the edge. Let's take it right to the edge, bring this down a little bit so it's in the same, and then I'm going to go in and change this to a grey. So guys, you can choose whatever colour you like. I just like that grey colour there. That looks good. And I'll take this and I'll do the same this side. So I've got something like that. So now it's beginning to look good. Remember, I'm in a grid system here, so nothing is kind of like getting in the way of something else. You know, we are restricted on some of the things we can do, but that goes the same for websites as well. Even in a website, you'd be looking at working in a kind of grid format most of the time. So finally, we have our sign off at the bottom. So I'm going to put in there something like, let's just finish this off as well. Let's just put view this offer. So notice how I stay away from the word click here. That can cause problems. You might have to change the text slightly to accommodate and make this as good as you can, but I've changed it to view this offer rather than click here. Click here can be picked up and marked against you for spam and things like that. So I'm going to have a link in there and a link in there if I want to. So next I'm going to take this top square and I'm going to bring it down. This will be my footer, this will be my sign off area, and I'm going to choose the logo and I'm going to bring this down here. So I've held the Alt key just to change that, and I can put that over there if I want to. So that looks quite nice. And then my final sign off, I'm going to use some groovy text. So let's put in some body text here, and then let's go and choose something like one of these. So let's go and we'll call this call it Team Zenler. Okay, and I'll bring that and I'll make that bigger as well, so I'm going to make a point of that. Okay, so my little sign off at the bottom. If you wanted, guys, you can also take this text, hold that Alt key, and then put a little bit of a line in for there. All the best. And then I can put that in position something like that. Again, notice that everything is in line, so that looks quite nice. It's quite quickly done. Obviously you can spend a lot more time on this and make it look really cool, but I'm thinking about, let's say 50% off. So I'm actually going to take this text here, I'm going to drop in some new text. Let me just drop in some text, 50% off. Okay, I'm going to make that white. Let's go in there, make it all white. Okay, and I might change it a little bit. I'm going to change the size of it, and I'm going to rotate it and drop it in here. So that's going to throw me off here for the grid, but that's okay. Because I can simply take these elements and I can bring them down. And now my line, again, I can go back to my elements and drag a line in there if I want to check these things. And you might want to take this line, you can create lines easily inside the page builder, but you can see everything's gridded up nicely. So this is it in its simplest form. So wasn't that cool? You know, we did that in what, 15 minutes. We just created this little email, and this could be the template for everything you're using going forwards. So I'm going to give you access to this, and I'll also at the same time give you access to this one as well, because they are slightly different from each other, although the format is pretty much the same. So guys, let me know if you want access to this template, or you just want access to this one. In fact, do you know what? I can give you access to both, because I can just make a copy of it. So if I just make a copy here, this is a nice little tip for you. I'm going to drag over all this stuff. I'm going to delete it all out. I'm going to come into here. I'm going to drag over all this stuff. I'm going to copy it and then go back into this tab with this page visible. I'm going to press Control V. Bang, there you go, you've got it. So that template will cover both of those. So you can see you can easily create these newsletter styles really quickly in here, and you can play around with them. So you can change the color of this if you wanted to. You know, it's really quick in Canva to do this sort of stuff without getting bogged down by the technicalities that you might face, or more importantly, the unfamiliarities of using Zenler's email designer. Although it is really flexible, and I think once you've used it a few dozen times, you'll be like, oh, do you know what, I'm not even going to bother with Canva, I can just do it all in there. The one good thing about doing it this way in Canva is you see it at size, so you're not creating over the size graphics. So for instance, if I come down here, this is a little tip, you can view them like here, but I don't know what the size is. So for all I know, this could be the size of my images, which wouldn't be big enough for what I need. Now I know I've set this to 800 by 1200, so all I need to do is drag this up to 100% on the slider, or near enough, and in here I think I can just set it on 100% here by clicking, and this is the size. This is the actual size on screen. If I'm exporting this out, this is the actual size at 100%. A lot of people have things like this, they're like in here and they think that's the size, but it's not. The actual size is this, what you set when you set the canvas size. Really important. So now we're going to take this and we're going to build this inside of Zenler. Now I've already built the one for this one down here, so I don't need, I can share that code with you and you can use either one of those. but I'm going to take you to the next step. I'm going to output this as a flat file. So this page is going to be outsourced at the actual size. Let me just name it in here because this will be the name of the file. So I'm going to come in here and call it layout 1. Okay, we'll go down to this one. I always name my slides layout 2. Lovely. Okay, let's output this. Let's go to share. Let's go to download. Let's download one file. I want it as a JPEG. Definitely keep the size as it is. Don't increase this if you're using a pro service. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to turn off all pages and just output one page, and I'm going to click done and download. Now that's going to pop up in my download folder any second now. There it is. I'm going to open this up now, show in folder, and here it is. This is actually it. I'm going to drop this, I'm going to drag it, drop it onto my desktop, and now we are ready to go into Email Designer inside of Zenler. Let's do this. I'm not going to close this template down, and I'll tell you why later, because there's a very good reason why I'm not going to. I'm going to be using it to match colors inside the platform. Okay, so we're now going to go to this next stage. I'm going to build this out inside Zenler's Email Designer. Let's do this. So guys, I hope you like that. That was all about the Canva side of things. Now, a few questions came out of this while that was going on. So one of the big ones was from Hannah, and Hannah was saying, oh, you know, should I, because in lots of my workshops I say about using this magic size of, and you paying attention, Hannah, to this, like 1920 by 1080, because it works for websites. Now websites are bigger. You can use that for backdrops. You can also scale it, ratio, and it all works that size. But what we're talking about here, and it'll all become obvious later, Hannah, so you kind of jump the gun a little bit here. The reason we set it at 800 by 1200 is that's roughly about the right size of every template inside Zenler. So it's that width. Okay, so imagine if I put an image in there. Remember, this is the size of the email that goes out. Let's just say that represents it. So I put an image in there that was that big. And then I put it in there and I scaled it down. It's still going to be that size. The file size of that one image is much, much bigger than something that's really small. So by creating the Canva template, you're basically getting your images to the right size and optimizing them. Now, why is this important? Why should I optimize my emails? Well, then they won't go into the junk folder, or they won't be flagged, because the file size will be huge. If you put, say, let's say you put 20, not that you would, but if you put 20 images in there and they're all massive, say you even did it bigger than 1920 by 1080, say you put 12 megabyte files in there, and then you scaled them down, it's like, oh, they look lovely, and then you sent it out. That's a huge email. So you want to make sure that you're getting it at that size. So if you've got it in there, what Canva's doing for you is it's not just designing it for you, it's actually optimizing the layout and the images for you, because you're putting them in there. So later on, what you're going to see now is we outputted that whole design file that we did from Canva. That was the last thing we did. So the next part of the video where we build it inside Zenler, it will then become obvious what's going on, because at the moment you'll be like, well, I've got a flat image. What is David going to do? Is he just going to paste that image straight into the email designer and say, oh, there you go, that's how you do it? No. that would be a quick workshop if I did that. But you have some tools that you might not know about inside Zenler that will allow you to actually cut out images from an image. So what's this mean? This means that you can take your image, you can snip out your images at that exact size that you outputted from Canva. Now also remember that in Canva, remember I was sliding it to 100 because that's the size that you see. say. So there, so Hannah's come back, she's confirmed, she's got it. Yeah, it's obvious once you say it, but it's not really, you know, it's one of those questions that people don't understand. It's like when you start talking about image sizes. What is that, in centimeters? Is that in meters? Is that in millimeters? What's px? You know, what's that? It's just a site, it's just pixels, so it's just screen dots. I've got Michael in here. Michael's joined us, and you know, he's well into the Unreal Engine, which is like 3D, so it's very much like what stuff that I do as well. So it's really good to see him here. And we've also got Kapil as well from India. So yeah, we are traveling the world today. So I hope that is clear. I haven't seen any other questions go in there. I've got Kapil saying your background looks awesome. Yeah, do you like this? This is the new Zenler background. This is our new kind of thing. This is, I'm showcasing this today, so Rakesh will be really happy. So we're all going to have these kind of neon stuff going on in the background to make it look a bit cooler. I know I'm snipped out at the moment because it's part of this, but we've got some really good backdrops going in for Zenler. So I'm going to move forwards because I'm waffling again. So any questions, remember, throw them into either Facebook group, or if you're on the YouTube channel, get in there. Hannah's asking loads of questions. She's always very active asking questions. If you're stuck at all, I'm taking it most of you are okay. So I know Michael was asking about Canva. He doesn't really use it. He uses more Pro Tools like me. So, but he's probably looking at Canva and going, hey, do you know what, this is really quick for doing these little things. And it is really good for chucking things out. And remember also, you can duplicate those pages, so you can change the design a little bit, and then you have a few different email templates to use. Now, I say the word email templates because later there's a little bit of a bonus. I'm going to show you how to create a template, or how to have a template in your email broadcast so you can reuse it. So you've only got to do this stuff once, you know, and then you can just change colors, you can put different images in, change the text a little bit, bang, it's out. So you put that time in. First of all, you might spend a day doing it. Well, you shouldn't spend a day, because I think I'm 30 minutes doing this one for you, but if you go in and you've set that template up, you've never got to do it again until you rebrand or something, or you might tweak things a little bit. But it's a real big time, so you know me, I love time savers. So if you can save yourself even a minute, you know, but this sort of time saving where you've got templates saves you hours, and also saves you frustration, because a lot of these things, I know as entrepreneurs, we're always kind of learning new things, and that's the problem. We forget some of the stuff we learned like a week ago if you're not using it every day. So if you've got a template set up, it's nice and easy, because you can just use it and just swap out the images, and you could even use Canva again and create a new one if you wanted to. So it's all good. So I'm going to move on to the next bit. I've got Khalida. So this is the type of style that can be used on our own meetings through Zenler. Are you doing this webinar through Zenler? So yeah, this is I'm actually using OBS to stream through here, so I'm using a dual feed, but I'm not going to get into that, but it's just being delivered to you through a different device, but it is through Zenler's Zoom accounts. Okay, so I don't understand, the style can be used for meetings throughout Zenler. Oh, this style here, yeah, it could be, yeah. We're going for more of sort of natural, real environments, as opposed to kind of the graphics that you can see left or right. But we digress. This is all about email designer, Kalina. So, brilliant. Okay, good. Right, let's move on. Let's go to the last part now. Now, this is the big part because we're doing a build, but it's really simple, guys. Starting from a blank, and you might be like, oh no, I've got a blank template, you know, I'm used to just picking one of the templates that are already made. If you learn this, you'll understand how it all works, and that is a key. So there's a lot of things in there that you might not have realized, where things are slightly maybe hidden for you and you don't realize where they are. So this could be a real eye-opener. It certainly will as far as cropping tools out using Zenler itself. I only found this by mistake. I was mucking around and I just found it, and I was like, whoa, that's good, I can do that in there. But anyway, I won't spoil it. You can watch it and tell me if you're like, oh, I didn't know that existed. Okay, so here we go, last part. Put your questions in there. At the end of this, I will be sharing the template for you with the block code, and in this video I also show you how to install that block code into your own email broadcast as well. Okay, So let's do this. Okay, so now we are in Zenler. We're going to go straight across to from our dashboard into the email broadcast, and you're going to see inside here that I've actually done the high five one that we saw, which was that one there, and that's all in there ready to go. But we're actually going to look at create a new one from scratch. So we're going to go into create a new email broadcast, and I'm going to call this let's call it Zenstream, shall we? So let's call it Zenstream workshop. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use any of the templates. I'm going to start from scratch. Now the reason being is that if you understand and you're able to work from scratch, that's basically not have a design in front of you because you've already done it in Canva, then it means that if you do decide to work with any of the templates that you have, it really doesn't matter because you already know how the system works. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to make sure that all our names correct and stuff like that. Now, taking into account that you should have done your domain name automation. This is a test site, so it's a little bit different. It hasn't been set up properly, you know, with the domain authentication, all of these things. It is just a test site, so we're just using it for testing purposes. So for that reason, mails could well go in the junk because nothing ties up with it, anything. Okay, so one of the very big aspects is the email domain authentication and making sure you're using the same, especially if you've got a custom domain, that you're using the right email address for that custom domain. So to give you an example of that, my site courses.mojomojo.design, inside there I have hello@mojomojo.design. that's my email address, but I've also authenticated that in the domain itself. So when I send out email broadcasts, I make sure that I use that email, you know, because otherwise if I put in there for @zenler.com, then when the system looks, it will look at it coming from Mojo, but it will actually be showing Zenler, and it would flag it and put that in the spam folder. So you need to make sure especially if you're using a subdomain or the domain itself, that you're using the associated email that goes with it. Guys, this is really, 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 really important. Okay, so because that way you're going to get better deliverability. So once you've filled this out, we're going to go to next, and it's going to give us all these lovely templates. Now after today, hopefully you'll be you know, trained enough that you could pick any of these and you could start altering things around and playing with them. Okay, but we're going to start from scratch, which is obviously scary for some people, but it's actually really easy because it works in a grid block type design, a little bit like our page builder. So it is a simplified version of our page builder, but it works in the same way. So we're going to choose scratch design there. Remember, with any of these designs, you can preview them by clicking the preview button. It will just flick through these quite nicely, and then you can go back to the themes. If you don't like that one, you can preview another one, and you can just check how they look. Does it look good for me? No, bad, you know. So we're going to go back to themes here, and we're going to choose this one. So I'm going to choose this one, and we're going to click next. So you're going to be presented with this. This is the basic setup. What you notice at the bottom that we have this big block here. The first thing I'm going to do is select this block. I'm not going to select the individual blocks. I'm going to select the surrounding main block. This is similar to the blue block in your page builder. You know, you have the blue block, and then you put rows, which are green, and you put elements, red blocks inside. Well, this is the equivalent of a blue block, and these are the equivalent of an element or a red block. So I'm going to choose the whole block there. I'm going to go to the color, and I'm going to set that color on that dark gray in there. Now that's the wrong color, so I'm going to select the text, and I'm going to go to the text color, and I'll make that white. Bang! I'm also going to change the actual font for that as well. So I'm going to go to style, and I want it in an Arial. So there you go, I've put it in Arial. Now I also might want that to be a little bit smaller inside there, so I can go into the settings for this, and I can just make this 12. I don't want to make it really obvious, and I also want to change that text color to a light gray like that, because I don't want it to show out. Now I've got socials in here. With socials, I can click the social here, click the items, and I can actually add a social link. So if I click here, I can go in and I can add my social link to here. And I can also add more if I want to as well. If I go back to the buttons, I can add another one in here. So you can add a new item inside here if you want to as well. Again, these are images. We've given you pre-prepared images, so you could create your own, choose a file, upload it, or paste an image URL in there if you've got one. So that's all very simple, so I'm not going to touch that area. Now you'll notice we've got the footer area here, we've got this body area, and we've got this header area. So this header area is in that grey. So this is why I told you to open up Canva and make sure Canva is loaded, because I'm going to get this and I'm going to get this colour. I'm going to click on the colour, I'm going to click on the settings for the colour, and I'm going to take this hexadecimal number, I'm going to copy it. That's the same colour as this black, this grey here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come back to our template, and now I'm going to choose the background color, and I'm going to paste it in there, and that is an exact match on that color. Okay, so exactly the right color. If I changed it to something like that and I took this color, this is the first step. So this is the containing block for elements we're going to put inside it. So if I change that color to this, I could paste that in there and I would get that exact color. All right, how cool is that? So we'll put it back to what it was before, which was 22222, if I remember correctly. And because I'm going to need to make sure I've got it the same color, because I've output my graphics and it's on that color. If I choose a different color, there'll just be a block around it. I don't want that. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put in that color there, and let me just make sure that it is 222222. Okay, there we have it. So we've got this set up now. We've got basically this holding block done. We've got the middle area and we've got this footer area. Well, I've got my Zenler logo in there, which I might leave off or I might put it in. I don't know. I'll decide that later. Let's see what that's just a blocks held. So now we need to just sort of work out what we're going to do. So if we look at this, you can see there's one row, 2 columns, and then there's one row along the bottom. So I'm going to quickly put one of the 2 columns in here, and I'm going to choose image. So now I've chosen image, I've got these 2 blocks. So how am I going to get my images all cut out so I can paste them into these areas? Well, that's really easy, guys, and I'm going to show you a tool that's already built into Zenler that I'm pretty much 90% sure that 90% of you don't use this. Okay, so I'm going to do a little hack here. I don't want to lose this page, but I want to upload my media to the media library. So I am, instead of just clicking this button and then I would lose this page, I'm going to right hand click on site and I'm going to go down to open link in new tab. It'll open as a new tab. Now I'm going to go down to where I've got media library. Okay, so stay with me. You'll see some graphics already in here that we cut out. I'm going to go and I'm going to click upload file. So stay with me on this. I'm going to be repeating this a few times for each of the images that are inside of Canva. Okay, so it will become clear what I'm doing in a second. And I've kept this template fairly easy to work with because I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 graphics to output. Yeah, I've kept it simple. So if you make more graphics in there, you're going to have to repeat this a lot of times. But I've done this on purpose. Now, generally, I would use Photoshop and I would snip all my image out really quick to do. But if you guys are not used to using these programs or you haven't got these programs, that's why I'm giving you this alternative. I'm not saying when I do this stuff for you, I'm not saying this is the way that I do it. I'm just saying that this is the way that you can do it if you're not used to using all of this expensive software. Okay? Just to make it crystal clear for you. So I'm going to go into media library, I'm going to hit upload file and I'm going to choose our lovely file that is on our desktop. There it is. I'm going to click open. Now I'm not going to click upload yet, I'm going to click edit. Ooh, edit, you say. So I bet you didn't even know that was there. So before you've uploaded it, you have these tools. Crop. So with the mouse, if you've got a mouse with a central wheel, you can put it over this area and you can zoom in and out. Okay, so I'm going to put it right at the top here and I'm zooming in. So I'm rolling my mouse and I'm moving in. Now I can use the crop tool and I can crop this in like so. Hopefully you've got a middle mouse button. Most mouses have got middle mouse button. They're really handy for scrolling up and down pages, so if you haven't got one, get one. But look, I'm cropping this and now I'm going to click save and watch what happens when I click done. I've snipped out, once I click upload, I've snipped out the image. There it is. It's appeared inside here. I can also label it, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to label this as sale block. And I'm going to hit the little tick there and I've got a little block. Now I can start to build this out. I can add this into here. So all I need to do to add it into here is go to my share option and I need to make sure link sharing on. I need to make sure this is for anyone to be able to download it and view it. Right, I need to make sure that it is not set on logged in users can download. I need it to be an open source file. Anyone with the link can download, okay? So do make sure that you're doing that. Don't keep it on there. If it's for an email you're sending out to people, you want to be clicking that anyone with a link. Now I'm going to copy this link, okay? And now I've copied that link and we're going to be doing this a few times. So if you can't follow me, just follow me on the next run. So I'm now going to select this image and I'm going to go into where it says image and I'm going to paste that URL, Control V. And now I'm going to let go. Bang! I've done it. So let's go and build the next one. Let's go and grab the Zenler logo. So we're going to upload a file again. We're going to select the same file here. We're going to click open and we're going to click upload. Oh, sorry, I missed that there. I missed a step. It's uploaded the whole thing. So I'll delete it out. It's not a problem. So if you do that, that happens to me quite a lot. I'm not used to doing it this way because, like I said, I use Photoshop. So I want to go edit. Then I'm going to use that middle mouse button. I've put the little arrow right at the top there, so it zooms in on that area. Notice, like if I put the arrow here and I zoom in, it will just zoom in on the picture. So this is a really handy way. Also, I'll tell you another little tip. Hold the control key and press the plus button on the keyboard. It'll make it all bigger. That helps as well. So that means I don't even have to zoom in. I can just use the crop tool and I can just crop this straight in here. So you're getting loads of tips here on how to do stuff. And we're going to put that in there and go, yep, that looks good. That's our little logo. And then we're going to click save. And then we're going to click done. And then we're going to click upload. And then we're going to repeat that process. I'm going to press Control and the 0 key now. I'm holding the Control key, press 0 once, and it will zoom you back out or reset the window size. I'm now going to go to Share, and I'm going to go to anyone with a link, and I'm going to copy the link, click Done. I'm going to jump into here, grab this block. I'm then going to go over to the image. I'm going to paste the URL in there, and I'm going to click Done. And there you go. I'm building my page out really quite effectively. So the next thing I need to do is put some text blocks in. So I'm going to choose this area here. I've chosen this block and I'm going to hit this little plus button and I want to put a text block in. Notice it appears down the bottom. I'm going to change that font to a white. I'm also going to make sure the style of that font is in Arial, which is what I've picked. And I'm going to just come in and change this and I'm going to write in here, you got it, blog, and then I'm going to do the function key there with the bar and I'm going to put all courses and I'm going to align the position, so I'm going to align it this side. So already now you can see we're starting to form this. Really quite simple. We've got our imagery in, so now we need to work on this text. Well, luckily it's text, so it's going to be nice and easy for us. So we can come back into the template now. I'm going to hit the plus sign and I'm going to choose text. And don't worry about the spacing or anything. We're going to sort all that out later. We want to take this and we want to put this inside here. Okay. and I'm going to go and choose the correct text. I'm going to go style. I'm going to even change the text size, make it 18, and we're going to I'll leave the text color, but now I'm going to start to grab my text from here. So I'm going to grab this text like so. Let's copy that, jump back into here, click a few times in there and paste that in there, do a carriage return, jump back into our Canva template, select the next lot of text, Control C inside here, paste it. Notice it's kept our bold as well, which is nice. So another thing is our position is off here, so I'm going to change the position of where the margins are for this. I want to get it a bit closer. So if I go into settings here, you'll see it says a padding of 40. I'm going to change that to 20, and you'll notice it's going to get closer to the side when I do that. Do you see that? And I've actually changed it to 5 now. So that's a lot better position all the way around. So we've done that main block now. We now need to do this block. Okay, so let's add these 2 blocks inside here. So really easy, guys. I'm going to grab this main block here. I'm going to open this up. By the way, I'm not grabbing this block here. I'm grabbing the main outer block because I want to color it, you see. So I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to add a block in here. And I want to go for a title with the image on the left. There we go. And straight away I'm going to hit the next block, and we're going to do the same thing but the image on the right hand side. That gives me the 2 blocks. Now I can go in and color this, so I can go and grab a color here, or of course I can go into the Canva template and I can find the exact color by clicking on here, in here, and where is that one there, and grab this color, copy back to here, and where I've got this color I can just paste in that color if I want to exactly match it. So the same thing's going to apply for this one as well. So I'm going to just grab this color and put that color in there because I've already got it pasted. Now you're going to notice there's no gap between the images, but no problem. I can select this block. And remember, when I select a main block here, whenever I click add, it will appear underneath. So I'm going to go add, and you're going to see you've got a spacer. So I'm going to click spacer, and you can see I've got a spacer in there. Now that spacer, you can actually change that. You can go into here. So you can click the spacer in here, and you can go into the settings and you can change this height in here, so I can make it a bit bigger if I wanted to. Okay, so now all we need to do is title this. So obviously you can flick back to here and you can title it. Now I've just got text, but it looks better with a title in there, so I'd want to name that something like course 1 or something. I'm going to name it the name of what the course is, but for this sake of this tutorial I'm just going to call it course 1 and course 2. Okay, so there we go, course 2 there, and that's done. Okay, so now I just need to go back into my media library, and I need to grab that file and I need to upload it. So I'm going to go into here, upload. I'm going to jump in, upload this file, going to choose that file which is there and click open. And now I'm going to edit that, and I want to go in, I want to zoom in on here. So I'm using my middle mouse button. Remember, you can use that Control plus to zoom in if you want to, if you just need to get a bit tighter on there. Then we're going to use the crop, and we're going to crop this to this square. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pull this one in as well, like so. That's perfect. And we're going to click save, and I'm going to click done, and I'm going to click upload. Okay, so I'm going to drop the next image in. I've got it there. I'm going to go to upload file. I'm going to select the same file again, and we'll select it there. We're going to grab the other image. This is how I generally work. I just do it all at the same time. It just saves a lot of trouble later. It speeds the whole thing up. Normally I go through it all, but of course I use Photoshop, so I just output them straight from Photoshop, or you could do it from Canva if you've got if you wanted to, but it's a bit of a pain. So I'm going to click upload there. Okay, so that's now uploaded. So finally I just want to upload the Teams bit at the bottom, the Team Zenler bit at the bottom, which is here, and we're going to edit that, and I'm going to zoom in on this, again middle mouse button. So I'm zooming in on that. I'm going to use the crop. I'm going to crop this down to where it should be. That's pretty good. Just want to make sure I've got the T there. Click save and click done. Okay, and click upload. Okay, so that's in there now. So I'm just going to set the file permissions from locked to open. So I'm going to go in here. This is how I work. It's just much quicker to actually just do it all in one go as you go through it. So press the wrong button there. I'm going to go to the share button and make sure that it's for anyone. And finally, I just need to do this one with the share button, and then I've unlocked them all so that I can link them. Okay, so I'm going to grab this one now. I'm just going to press the Control and 0 to zoom this out. Now that I've zoomed in, I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy this URL. Copy there. I'm going to jump back into this, and we're going to swap this out. So I'm just going to go into the image, paste the URL in there, click, and there it is. And I'm going to go to this one. It's as simple as that, guys. You know, this is so easy to work with. And don't mess around with it too much. Just let it do its stuff. You know, don't go into the settings too much. It's all set up for you. You don't need to play around with it. And I'm going to put that in there. So now we've got that. The last thing I need to do is start to put in this block that's going to be down the bottom. So I'm going to select the outer row here, and I'm going to click Add. And what I want to do here is I'm actually going to do a three image, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to add a 3 image in there, and I'm actually going to delete one of the images out and another one out, and I'm going to swap this for the image. So I'm going to go back to our media library, and I've got the last one here, which is Team Zenler. I'm going to select in there, I'm going to copy this. Let's jump back to here, and we'll put that image in there. So paste that URL, and bang, it's done. Now I do need to add another block, so I'm just going to select this block again, and I'm going to add, and this is going to be a text, so it's just a text. And inside here, all I want to add is what we've got in here, which is all the best. So I'm going to add that in here, all the best, and then hit that. That should be good. I just want to go and take all this down to 0 pixels. All right, and I want to actually, I'm going to push it in a bit. So remember the clock for any of this padding stuff. We've got top is the first number, okay, and the second number is right, okay, so that's also 0. Then the third number is the bottom, and then the fourth number is the left, which is what I want to knock in. So you can see I've moved it in there by adjusting that number. I might do it to 25 just to knock it in a little bit more, and that's all good. So I actually want to add a little bit of top to this as well. So I'm going to come in here, and on this top area I'm going to add, so top is the top of the clock, and I'm going to put 25 pixels in there, and you're going to see it will drop down. There we go, and that's it. And there we have that set. Everything is in line, everything looks good. This text is probably the wrong size. I might need to go in here and style it, but it's no problem. I can go into the settings for this, and I think we made it 18, so we can make that 18, and go into here, can make this 18 as well. So you're just making sure that everything's consistent as you're working your way through. So it might be a little bit big. So finally, the only thing I've got left to do is to add the links in there. So we have links. I'm just going to drop this text down. So obviously you'd make sure your text, there's always a little bit of fiddling around with these things. But I'm going to grab from here, I'm actually going to go and where I've actually edited it in here, I'm actually going to use this. So I'm going to take this and I copy it, I'm going to jump back in here, and at the end here I'm going to just do a return, and I'm going to put that in there. So I can do that nice little bit at the end. I'm actually going to copy this in here, copy, and go down here, and we'll do a carriage return, and there I've got a link, view this offer. And now I've created this. So apart from adding this Zenler bit at the bottom, which I can easily add, I could just go into one of these blocks and I could add a 3 column there, add an image, and I could go and grab that same image. So I've got the image already in here, Zenler there, so I'm going to copy this. I'll just use the same image in the email, and we'll paste that in there, and there we go. So this has got, I think this is in black, so I probably need to change this to the black color. I like that, and now that looks good. And I could actually come in here and change the width if I wanted to 120, make it a bit smaller, and I could even add a little bit of padding for the top, let's say 25 pixels at the top, that'll push it down. Perfect. And there we go, we've got our email in there. I'll get rid of these boxes because they're just placeholder images, and that'll drop the whole thing down, so that looks a lot better inside there. Let's just check everything. Let's just preview this, and looks pretty good. So this is the bottom. I'm going to change this to 0 pixels. So remember, this is top of the clock, so this pushes top, this pushes right, this pushes bottom, and the last one pushes left. Let me put 10 in there for the bottom. Okay, that looks a bit better. And I actually want to push it a little bit. I actually think this needs to be pushed a little bit more that side. Oh, that's top. 20. So I want to push it a little bit on this side. I'm going to push it 25 px. Now that's pushed it in a bit, maybe a bit too much because most of them are 20. Right, that looks good. Now let's preview this. And there we go. So we got a few more bits to add. We're going to add in the personalization because at the moment we just got this tag in there. So I'm just going to put this in here to convert it, and I'm going to go across to variables, and I'm going to choose first name. So now if I preview this, you're going to see that my name comes up there. So all we got to do now is put the links in. So I'm going to select the text, and we can go to link, and we can either select a link in the school, or we can actually put a URL in here. Now for the sake of this, I'm just going to put hash in there to create a link, and you're going to see now that there is actually going to be a link on here if I've done it right. Hold on, let me just put let's put this URL in like that and click insert. You're going to notice it's gone blue, but I'm going to put that right. This is the only thing that is kind of annoying, that you can't choose, well, you can choose the link color, and I'm going to put that right in a second. So I'm going to choose this text, and I'm going to go over to color settings, and where it says link, I'm going to change this. So I'm going to change it to a white, and now it's changed to a white. So we're going to do the same for this as well. We're going to put a link in here. At the moment I'm just using the same link, guys, because it doesn't matter. I'm going to choose in there, I'm going to go in here to link, paste that in there. So I like that color, but if you want to change that link color, you can go in here and you could change it. See, so you can go into here and you just go to the link tab there, and you can change it in there. So there's no problem at all. So now you've got this. I'm going to preview this, and you can see I've got links on here, I've got links down here, got links here, and it looks pretty much exactly the same as this. You know, there's not a lot of difference, and that is how you can create a beautiful email. So now the last stage of it is to test it. So we can send a test to ourselves in here. I'm just going to send this to myself, and I'm going to click test send. Now if it comes up with an error, it's probably because you haven't put a subject title in here. Remember, we can use personalization, so I can use dear, and then I can put a personalization in there, like my first name. And then for the sake of this, I'm just going to call it Zenstream Workshop, and I'm going to click test send, and now that will have sent a test send to me. So we're going to have a quick look at that now. And guys, here it is. So this email has come in, and there it all is, and it looks beautiful, and that all works perfectly well. And if I bring this down in size, it's not going to show it, but on a mobile it would show in the format. So you can preview this in mobile by going into here, and you can have a look at how it looks in mobile. It looks pretty good. Everything's working as it should, and it looks nice. So that is how we can do it. Now the rest of the process is click next. You can either send it now, you can schedule it, or you can set it as draft. So a little tip here, if you want to set this as draft, so I'm going to save it as draft. Now what I can do is I've got this in here as a draft email. Notice it's draft. So if I want to reuse this as a template, all I need to do is click clone. As soon as I click clone, I can go I can call it what I like, and then I can reuse this. So I can click clone, and it's now going to set up a brand new one. And if I click next, I can swap out images, change this, change the text into here to something completely different, swap out the images. And if I've got the Canva template and I swap it out in here, I can go through that same process to create a new one. And when I'm finished, I've got a new one that I can schedule to go out. So now you can see I've got this clone, and I've got this original one that's actually in draft mode. So really easy to use, guys. And I'm now going to show you how you can use the code from here that I'm going to supply you with this Zenstream. So let me just delete this one out, and I'm going to show you how you can use that code. And I'm going to go into here that is HTML, and I'm going to grab this. I'm going to select it all, Control A, Control C to copy. This is the code that I'm sending to you, right? But if you want to know how to create a copy of yourself, this is what you can do. I'm now going to shoot back to email broadcast, and I'm going to set up a new broadcast. I'm going to call this pasted code. Okay, so I've got that code. I've just given you that code. You've got the link to the download pack with the template for Canva and this code in there. I'm going to click create. This is going to open a brand new one up. I'm just going to do this really quickly, guys, just to show you how to get it. So you set this up as you normally would. You click next. You need to not use a Zenler address. Hold on one second. Okay, let's move through this. I'm gonna start from scratch, and this is what you should do. Click next. It's going to ask me to select a template. I've selected the template. It doesn't actually matter which one I pick, to be honest. So this is going to then open this up here, and all I'm going to do is open the HTML. I'm going to select all, Control A. I'm going to delete it all out. Now that code I've given you, press Control V to paste it in there, and then go back to here, and bang, you've got it. So that template, that code that I've given you, you can just go into any of the templates, select this little marker for markup, Control A to select it all, or if you don't want to do that, you can just go through like that and then just delete it out. Take that code that I've given you, paste it in there, and then click there, and you'll be back to where I've got here. Okay, so that's how that can work for you, and I hope you've enjoyed this workshop all about creating emails. And you see how quick you can work with the email designer inside of Zenler. It's really powerful. So I'm going to give you the code for this. I'll also, guys, give you the code for this one as well, so you can view it here. So you've got this code as well if you want to use this, if you want. And you'll have this Canva template where you've got both of the templates on as well. So with that, armed with that information, you should be able to duplicate this video here, or even the best way is to do it on your own. Remember the size of this Canva template. I'm going to repeat it: 800 width pixels by 1200 height pixels. Okay, so if you're creating a new design, then make sure that that's the size you're using. So when you create your new design, you want to make sure you've got a custom size. Inside the width, you want to make sure it's 800. Inside the height, you want to make sure it's 1200, okay, in pixels. And then you can do your design in there. Make sure that this is set to 100% so you can see what's happening, you can see the size of elements inside here. Remember, you can click here and go 100%. Do your design, go through the video, maybe play it again, pause it where you need to, and you'll be able to create marvelous, amazing email designs. Now you could spend more time with this and put more graphics in there. You could put your own social media icons using the same methods that you've seen in this email design workshop done for Zenstreams. I hope you've liked this. Any questions, raise them now. So there we go, guys. That's how to do it from Canva, and then doing that conversion into the email designer. So for you guys that don't know, that's kind of generally what happens when people do website builds. They'll do flat mock-ups using something like, you know, InDesign or Illustrator or even Photoshop, and then they will be converted and split apart and created for a new website. So that's how it kind of works in the industry anyway. So what you're doing there is sort of an industry standard of actually taking something, finding potential problems in Canva, you know, watching for grid positions, these sort of things, and then converting that straight across to the email designer, which is what you just did. Except we added a few extra bits. We've we've shared a template with you. Michael says it works fine, so that's good. If you've got a Canva account, you can put that in there and you can use that template, and you can take that code and you can paste it in there. We showed you how to do that as well. We also showed you about that cropping technique, you know, and that is really cool because you're outputting that 800 by 1200, so 800 is the width of our templates roughly, and you can then output that out, and when you crop those within Zenler itself, it doesn't make them bigger or smaller, it keeps them the same size. So what you're getting is an optimized image instead of what a lot of people do, which is go to something like Pixabay, download an image well oversized, put it into their emails and then scale it, and this is what I was saying at the beginning. So actually doing it this way actually eliminates that problem. So don't just think of it for email designer, think of it that this same method could be used for if you're cutting any assets up to put into the page, any of your pages or any of your courses. You know, you can use this tool to actually create an automatic cut for you inside Zenler itself, which I think is pretty cool, you know, to have that little feature in there. It's not something that we ever kind of talk about really, so and I only found it by mistake. You know, you always find these little things popping up. So Hannah's put thanks David, copy and paste link in browser. Yeah, absolutely, it will open up a page. If you've got a Canva account, you can use it for your Canva account, so just click that, you'll then log into your Canva account and you'll save that as a template then, so you've got that to work with, to play around. You've got that code in there as well to put it in there, but I encourage you to start fresh, 800, 1200, start playing around, make sure everything's in a grid, and then just follow this. You can watch this is all on a replay. I know Kapil was asking earlier, like can I show something again, but in a webinar, in any webinar, you do not repeat something for one individual. You have to watch it on the replay. So and anyway, this is recorded, so impossible. So I'm happy that you like this. One last question before you go. I always like to do this at the end of the Zenstream, and I've got guys in here. What do you want to see next week? So if you want to throw some ideas in there, if they tally up, I'm looking at YouTube and I'm looking at Facebook. So last week there was emails and there was media creation. So we went with emails because that was the majority. So if Kapil sorted his problem out, that's good. So what do you want? What do you want to see? Email automation. So you want to see automations? That's a good one. It's quite a big subject. Hannah's normally got something to say about this. And is Michael still here? Khalida's here. There's a few people in here. Email automations. I'm going to do this on 3 if no one's putting any other things in here. So I was going to do media creation. Media creation's a good one, by the way. Animated graphics, exporting PNGs, cutting books out with drop shadows if you're selling an ebook, this kind of thing. Alright, email automations is winning. I'm new to Zen. I'm wondering, is there a live webinar on how to use the platform in general? Absolutely. Nice one, Andy. What you need to go is tutorials.newzenler.com. Make sure you're part of that. I'll email you after this broadcast, and you want to take the quick start guide. It will take you roughly 3 hours, and you'll understand all of the foundational things that you need to know about Zenler, about the platform itself. It's the quick start guide. If anyone can reply to Andy there and put it in there, so great lesson. We'll get the link on Facebook. Oh, Hannah's going to do it. Hannah's a star. She normally helps out on these things. She is my co-presenter on Zenstream because she's always here. Thanks, Hannah. That's brilliant. So okay, that's good. All right, Kapil, make sure you're here. It will be next week, probably be over the weekend, probably about this time because it's quite popular. Email automations is what we're going to do, and then I'm going to do media creation the week after because it's such a fun one to do. We can have some real fun and games with that one, and I might even be showing you how to use AI to create media. But for now, we're going to stick with automation. So I'm going to be showing you basic automations throughout lives, courses, automations through funnels. Going to be going into detail about how you can use advanced filtering to filter out and tag. We're going to cover all of those things as well. So a really exciting one. It will take probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours, quite a big subject. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions as well, because there's a ton of different scenarios with automation. So we'll do automations next. Kapil has asked for it. Kapil, make sure you turn up. You asked for it, so you need to be here. All right. Khalida, sounds awesome. So you guys will love automations, because obviously it's a key part of you automating the process, meaning that you can go off on holiday and knowing that your courses are all automated and running beautifully. So we'll look at that. We'll also look, and I'll tell you something else we'll do just for a bit of fun. I'll actually show you how you can use the page builder, and you can incorporate designs that you've done in the page builder into your automated emails. How about that? That'd be cool. So yeah, a lot to cover. So been a great one. Thanks for turning up. It always makes life so much more pleasant for me when I've got people in here and I'm communicating with you guys. It's, you know what it's like as a course creator. It can be a lonely experience if you're just doing a broadcast and no one's watching you. So thank you very much. The Zenler community is awesome, and so is the YouTube community as well. I know Hannah's on both, but fantastic. Implement them, put them to use, okay? So also another thing in the automations next week, I'm also going to talk about system emails, because I think that's kind of key. I just want you to make sure that you're branding all your system emails, and I'll tell you why next week. So guys, have a great weekend. It's bank holiday here in the UK, but I'm still going to be working because I love Zenler so much. All right guys, see you later.